Shame on me, Greg. Shame on me for thinking that Pebble Beach could hem in Rory McIlroy, for thinking that his subpar history here was going to be anything for 2025, because Rory McIlroy took apart this golf course at times. The front nine on Sunday, Patrick and I were on HQ, and it was really just mostly mistake free. We already talked about that. Sepp Straka was struggling, Shane Lowry was struggling, Rory McIlroy was just treading water. He was only one under through the front nine, so kind of a similar story there before he goes nuts on the back nine, makes birdies on 10, 12, an unbelievable eagle on 14, another birdie on 15, and then a very easy layup par on 18 to clinch his 27th PGA Tour victory.
It's incredible, and it's really fun to watch Rory McIlroy play in this way, because there's that sense where at some point he's just showing off. He's hanging on the rim a little bit, and that's what you saw on 15. The eagle at 14 was kind of the clincher. Felt like game, set, match. I know that Shane Lowry kept him honest, but then he goes to 15 and he's just having fun. He's smiling. He's saying to himself, "Hey, this is my day. There's nothing anybody can do about it." And ultimately, it's his 27th win on the PGA Tour, first at Pebble Beach. He joins a incredibly illustrious list of players that have won at Pebble Beach. It's just as good as it gets. But what I think, looking back to the kind of pregame performance, Rick, of us, the driver was, at least by me, underappreciated in the role that it could play this week. Perhaps the weather played a role. Perhaps the weather helped. I always think of Pebble as more of a positional kind of golf course. Rory took it apart with distance. He took it apart with driving accuracy. He was 19th in the field in driving accuracy, and obviously led the field in driving distance. Just extremely incredible performance from him off the tee that ultimately, he did a lot of work. He did a lot of work with the driver, gained nearly 6 strokes off the tee this week. Big time.
The line that he took on 14, I'm just watching it again right now, is absurd. It ended up being 339 yards, and then I think he hit 7 iron.
Yes.
7 iron. So that's the hole where Sepp Straka hit 7 wood into that green. Shane Lowry hit 3 iron. Rory McIlroy hit 7 iron to the moon from 221 yards to 26 feet, Patrick. He rolls that one in, and like Greg mentioned, that felt like it was the dagger.
Oh, slammed the door shut there, despite what Shane did down the stretch. And just to further Greg's point about the driving accuracy, at Pebble Beach, it was 11 fairways on Friday, 11 on Saturday, and 8 today, but none were really off the map at all. They were just, some of them just like barely rolled into the rough for the first cut. And he hit some, 2 of them, he hit some fairway bunker shots that were ridiculous. The one into 10 was phenomenal. Oh my God. Like that is downright disgusting. He got it onto the green on number 6 from the fairway bunker also. And then the one on 2, the one on 2 was almost out of bounds, but just to like kind of get it over the lip, because he was close to it, give himself 50 yards and then hit it to tap in distance as well. So he missed in the right spot when he did it, and he barely missed at the same time. And it just, when Rory McIlroy is driving the golf ball like he did this week, there are few, if any, more fun things to watch as a golf fan. It is just a show. It is a show. That's the only way you can put it. And then to have the confidence with the wedge play, he was talking a little Rotella talk this week, which I always appreciate. Maybe not Wednesday night before the Masters, but in general, I do appreciate it. Just saying, hey, you're a good wedge player from inside 150. Just go at them. Just go at these pins. Screw it. Why not? The sawed-off finishes were fantastic, and we saw him hole a bunch of putts, it felt like, from that 20 to 30-foot range. So really had it all going. Felt like that Wells Fargo Championship back 9 almost.
Oof. Well, We'll talk about the venues that have been associated with the Wells Fargo Championship in a bit. Greg, what were you going to say?
He had, I think it was 3. It was at least three putt pars on par 5s this week as well, and shot 21 under and won by 2. There were 2 at Spyglass.
I remember one of them.
Hole.
1 on 6 today.
Yeah. Okay.
And 14 maybe.
Well, not today. Did he do that yesterday? He might have. Did he 3-putt 14 yesterday?
He made par on it the first 2 days. I think it was yesterday.
No, yeah. He hit it in the bunker in 2.
Yesterday,
and then didn't get it up and down.
Must have been Friday then when he was struggling.
Friday. No, he was just off. He was just off.
How many shots back was he on Friday? Because remember we were talking about that, Greg. We were like, whoa, Scotty, Rory, Justin Thomas. How many back was he on Friday?
He was at 8. Sepp was at 14. Sepp shot 65.
Yeah.
He was at 6 under going into 18 on Friday.
Yeah. So it was, they were right, as we said, Scotty and Rory. Rory was at 8. Scotty was at 7. They were right on the brink of being out of it. I also think the weather really changed things over the weekend.
It did.
It made a huge difference.
That win, officially 27 on the PGA Tour. It moves him into 22nd all time, which breaks a tie with Henry Picard, who finished his winning on the PGA Tour in 1945. So now Rory's got Paul Runyon and Leo Deigel ahead. Those guys haven't won a golf tournament since 1941. Trevino and Littler are at 29. Horton Smith, Harry Cooper at 30. More modern day, Vijay Singh's at 34. Watson's at 39. Just trying to see kind of what's on deck for Roars. Major championships always on deck for Roars, Patrick. Quail Hollow this year.
I think before you got to go to Quail Hollow, there's another major championship in Augusta, Georgia.
Oh, man. If he wins the Masters.
Which I think he kind of just goes through. He has yearly calendars, I've been told. 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. And he just immediately goes, highlights the week on all of them. Kind of like he's signing autographs for fans. But I will say, I'm joking, obviously. The thing I liked the most from Rory this week wasn't the improved approach play, the wedge play. All that stuff is great. Don't get me wrong. I'm happy that he's making strides and kind of fixing that part of his game. Someone asked him, there were a few questions in the media where he got a little chippy back, which I always enjoy out of McIlroy. And on Wednesday, someone asked him, like, why do you play in Europe so much? Why are you going to play less on the PGA Tour? And he was like, I actually enjoy playing in Europe. And then in between rounds, someone asked him, oh, like, are you concerned about the entertainment value of the PGA Tour? And he goes, I'm concerned about Rory. And when he has that little FU, chip on his shoulder type energy, I absolutely love it from any golfer, honestly, but especially someone like Rory who's always putting himself out there. And so if he can keep that FU mentality through April, I think it'll only help his chances.
Anytime Jordan Spieth or Rory McIlroy win before the Masters, I'm just ready. I'm just ready for it. You know, it's just, you get a taste of like, all right, it's time again. Now that obviously hasn't happened in a while, but I love it, Greg. I love when Rory wins early.
Here, I love when Rory wins. And I think this could be a big jump start to 2025. I mean, have we ever seen a 5-win season out of Rory? I don't.
A bunch of threes. I know he's got a ton of threes.
Like just on the PGA Tour?
Twos, yeah, PGA Tour. I don't think he ever has.
He has a bunch of his 5 in 2012 came with the 5th being the DP World Tour Championship.
So here we go. No, he doesn't.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. 2012 was 4 PGA Tour wins. Here's 2024 and back. 2-2-3, 1-1, 3-1. Couple other years of 2-2, 3-4, but no fives, Greg.
Right. So could we see a big year like that? That's a intriguing question, especially considering the limited schedule and Scotty Scheffler, who also plays on this PGA Tour. That makes it very difficult. But could we see something like that? It's intriguing. When it comes to the Masters and Augusta National, it's completely separate. It's completely separate. I don't think it matters. There is nothing that Rory can do from now to the Masters to make me feel any different. It's going to be what happens on Thursday at Augusta National. You're not going to know until there are a bunch of other players who coming in. We need to see some form coming in. Oh, I'm feeling great about it. Spieth would be one of those. Where are we with so-and-so's game? Rory's, it could be the best player in the world. He could be struggling. I don't think it matters.
Yeah.
It's nice to know that he's in good form. And who's to say that's going to last until April? But it's great. But it's just a completely different thing. It's totally different for Rory McIlroy. So can you prepare for that? Yeah, I'd like to think you can. But how many different combinations are we gonna try to get this door unlocked?
Yeah, just think about
like hard thing.
The last few years too. Like at the match play, he switched to a Scotty Cameron that year. He called in Rotella Wednesday night the other year. He played 1,000 practice holes one year and shot 1,000 under. It's the best he's ever looked at Augusta National. Last year, he played 1,000 tournaments before it. This year,
showed up on Tuesday night kind of thing.
Yeah, showed up late. This year, Greg, to your point about 5 wins potentially, it sounds like he's only going to play 15 times on the PGA Tour this season, the bare minimum. And skipping the first FedEx Cup playoff event too, which not good for the brand. But yeah, what more are you gonna try? Lock yourself in your swing studio again for a month?
Whatever it takes is what he is going to try. Figure it out. He'll figure it out. He'll get that combination.
Can't he just treat it like any other tournament?
It's not, Greg, and you're fooling yourself.
Talking heads won't let him too,
and Rotella won't let him. Right? It's okay to say this is more important. That's okay. You don't have to lie to yourself.
We got a couple. It's an interesting thing. I've always wondered this about Rory when it's really important to him. What happens to his performance? Usually, there's a lot of evidence to say that it suffers. But something does tell me that he's learning from that. And it's going to be exciting because you got obviously the Masters like you have every year. You have a PGA Championship at Quail Hollow where he's won 4 times. Expectations are going to be super high there. You got Oakmont, which really has nothing to do with it, but you have a U.S. Open where he's been a runner-up the last 2 years.
Yeah.
So, and he feels like he's been a really good U.S. Open player. And then you go back to Northern Ireland for Portrush. And all 4 majors, there's something special for Rory McIlroy this year. I can't wait to see how he handles it.
I think this is the year, boys. I think this is the year.
Brother.
I think this is the year. We'll see.
Did you say that last year, Rick?
The last 8 years.
And the year before that.
Yeah.
I think the funniest thing about Rory McIlroy's winning, I don't know if it's funny, it might be sad to some, is every time he's returned to a venue that he's won a major at, he has won the week prior. So before Kiowa in 21, he won in his latest start. You think he returned to Valhalla this year? Guess what? He won the Wells Fargo Championship. And before returning to Liverpool, he won the Scottish Open.
For ultimate hype. He's the ultimate hype man.
He is the the ultimate hype man.